So, I'm going to start with some facts because this is going to be a fun way to start. Reto and Moritz, it is 37 days before the first artist rehearsal, and it is 11 days until you start building in the venue. You are the executive producers of Eurovision 2025 here in Basel, but hearing those two data, what is the first emotion that you feel?
This is where we're different. This is his feeling. I have mixed feelings because it's too fast.
Yeah.
Because we want this journey to last for longer. And on the other hand side, extremely excited because we had so many things that we want to do. But we really hope that we want to see them in reality, what it is. So yeah, but I agree. We scream. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But scream, is that a scream of enjoyment?
Actually, it's both. Because it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. And sometimes you have the feeling it goes too soon now. It is a fantastic year. It is amazing to be like the producers of this show, Eurovision Song Contest, and then it goes so fast and everything is over. And the next host broadcaster has the honor to produce it. So yeah.
Yesterday was 300 days. Yesterday, today, it's too fast. Life is too short.
It is always. We speak to a lot of the executive, people that work on it, and it is kind of the strangest event in the world. Where, of course, the UEFA Women's Cup is also coming here. You get about 4 to 6 years after bidding on it to do it. You guys have 10 months. How does that? How did it? Was it as stressful as you imagine when you first got the folder the day after the day of the final, or has it been more relaxed? Because I can imagine that 10 months doesn't feel that long when you first hear about it.
It does not when you consider it in the standard of the sport events you mentioned. But we know the ESC, and we know the ESC from before because of our former lives within the ESC. So we know what it is about. We have already digested the fact that it's short. The question was more about now, concretely, how do we do it? Because this is not anymore about thinking, it's about doing. No. That was more the topic that we immediately picked up and said, okay, now how do we do it? And we ended up sitting for hours together deciding on how do we do it? And also what are our ambitions? Because the ESC, you can just deliver it, or you can make it something special. And we decided to make it something much more special than special.
What were the ambitions? Were there specific things but without giving away too much? Like, were there specific ambitions you put down to make it special? Because I can imagine you want to make it special for Switzerland and Basel in specific as well, next to what we'll see on TV.
Yeah, this is like one part, but we also want to make it special because it's the birthplace of the Eurovision Song Contest where everything happens. And also after Malmö, it's a lot about values respect, and I think this was one of our goals, to bring that back to Eurovision. And then, of course, besides the show and the Eurovision Village, we had a lot of ambitions when it came to public value projects that are important for our broadcaster. Also to the turquoise carpet, the opening ceremony. There are so many side events, and we thought, let's think these kind of side events a little bit different. When it comes to the shows, everything is pretty much set in stone. Of course, you have creative freedom there, but also there we thought what could be improved maybe this year.
And for us, we have been following for several years the ESCs, and we always had not a frustration, but we always thought there is something that we need to do about what people know of this ESC. Many people think it's a Saturday night TV show, which is a big one. It's bigger than the other ones. My mom is not able to make a difference between bigger and less bigger, but this is basically, okay, it's an ESC, it exists for long. But we said from the beginning, we want this to be more than just a TV show. It's the biggest TV show. It's an amazing TV show. We're making an amazing TV show also in Basel. But it's about using this TV show to show Basel in Switzerland to the world. But the other way around also, bringing what the ESC actually is to Switzerland. And this is why many things of what you're going to discover in May are in fact an experience for people in the city, in the country, and in the world who watches on TV. And we have constantly had those three perspectives when it comes to, you don't need to know that the ESC is taking place in Basel to discover what it is. you will be grocery shopping and suddenly, oh, there is something. What is it? Ah, this is the ESC. Oh, this is actually cool. And then you have brought in new people who didn't know it. There is this whole people acquisition that we're really trying to put a lot of energy in, because it must become bigger. It must bring in more people because it's uniting by music. And in 2025, this works when you have a maximum of people part of it. And this is this experience we're building up currently.
Yeah, it feels like Basel will be united by music, because we won't just have Euro Village, Euro Club, and of course the Arena Plus, but there's also so many different concerts and culture happening for people that live in Basel. So it feels like you're already really accomplishing that. Do you notice it when you walk around the streets here in Basel, that it's slowly becoming that buzzy feeling of, oh, something amazing is happening in the city?
It is the energy, actually, and it was a huge part of the city bit when we decided on Basel. It was the motivation, the energy the city has, the creative ideas they had around the normal Eurovision village and what you have to deliver. And now you can feel it when you walk through the city already. People are really looking forward to this event here in Basel. They are, I mean, we had this vote. People outside of Switzerland, I think, yeah, it's a little bit strange in Switzerland, but we vote for everything. So there was a vote on Eurovision. So people fully support the Eurovision Song Contest here in Basel.
Yeah, and of course, a week and a half ago, there was another big milestone here. All of the delegations, almost all of them, came here for the Heads of Delegation meeting. What was that like for you? Was that a moment where it really became real, because you get to sit down with all of them, hear their plans, but also they came here. We saw almost all Heads of Delegation post about how amazing the city was. What was that moment like for you guys? Because you also get to present your plans, of which we find out a little bit more, I think, on April 14th at the next press conference. But what was it like for you to have that moment to go, this is what we're doing, and also hear what they are doing?
It's the last big milestone before the people actually come to Basel. So for us, it just means time's up. That was the main impression. But on the other hand side, this year, we are implementing quite a lot of new things for the delegations, in the way we manage delegations, in the way we also get the delegations engaging with the ESC, with this event, in the way they're going to live also in the delegation bubble, all those different things that are coming from lessons learned from Malmö, from crazy ideas, this whole idea about having an event mindset that we want people to feel, the welcome home mindset. So there are many things that we're currently putting in place, and what actually happened at the HOD meeting is the first time we have given the exhaustive view of all those things they're going to live here in Basel from day one until the end. And as a host broadcaster, there are two possibilities. Either it works, or you start having to argue and explain, etc. It was the first option. It was really the first, because the delegations were extremely supportive, liked many of the ideas, even all ideas, have understood that we need them also to make this a fantastic experience for audience, but also for them. And this can only work when you have a good community of head of delegations, head of media, together with the host broadcaster. And I think we achieved this at the HOD meeting, and it was one of the moments of truth that we needed.
Was there like a high five at the end of that when you feel that together? Because I can imagine the nervousness of like, this is what we've planned, and you don't know which way it's going to go, and you feel that it's being received well. Did you? Is that like a high five moment at the end of the day where you looked at each other and went, yes?
Yeah, it was kind of. It was kind of. But yeah, like Moritz said already, we changed a few things. So we had already monthly meetings with the head of delegations that become weekly meetings now. So it was not the first touch point, really. So they knew from some ideas, and it was much more concrete now, of course. But so at the end, it was really well received, everything. And it was not only well received, it was very good discussions, very good questions, also for us to think further. And I guess everything everything was good. Yeah.
But we also have an amazing delegation management team this year that is really integrated also with the EBU. This year we have put a lot of efforts into having one team strategies. The whole city, the host broadcaster are living together in the same office, working together, taking decisions together. So you don't have two entities that need to try to work together. It's
where everything is a Zoom meeting every just once a week.
You can misunderstanding. No, they're sitting here next to each other, and how do we do it? Bam, bam, bam. They help each other, etc., etc. The same goes for everything related to the delegation management. We have an integrated delegation management team composed of host broadcaster, EBU, and host cities, so that the delegations have one-stop shop. They know where to go to, and then we do in the background what they need. So all those things are, I think, game changers this year.
Nice. Of course, one of the things you presented there, and we will hear more about later next month, is, of course, what we'll see in the rest of the shows. We know the 37 acts that are coming. We know the hosts now, but there's a lot more. There are video instarts. There are opening acts, interval acts, a lot of the other stuff like that. Just what is your intention of the whole through line of the 3 shows we'll see? What are kind of the touchstones of things that you really wanted to incorporate from the Swiss point of view into those shows?
When it comes to the Swiss DNA of the shows, it's really the diversity of Switzerland, to be honest, because we have 4 languages in our small country, and we have so many different cultures in our small country. There is, of course, a lot of yodeling that everybody knows, a lot of cheese and cows, but besides of that, there is also the biggest techno scene in the world, actually, the Street Parade.
Well, that gave us that amazing theme music.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end, it's the mixture, and also what you can create when you mix different cultures or subcultures with each other. This is like one part. Then, of course, there is a concept for the postcards that we will reveal.
Because for the first time since 2019, everyone has traveled here. We spoke to our Dutch artist, Cloud.
Yeah.
He loved it. And I spoke to 4 other artists back in Melfest because they were also there, Cisalve.
Yeah.
And they all said the first time it felt real that I was going to Eurovision was when I landed at the Swiss airport and a car picked me up with the logo. How's that been like? Because almost all of them have visited already and discovered different parts of Switzerland.
So our ambition was not only that artists walk through beautiful landscapes of Switzerland, but that they can do some kind of an interaction. Nice. We will speak about that a little bit later, what it will be. But the emotion and the interaction is a huge part of the postcards this year.
And also, we have decided to bring them all into the country because this is what Welcome Home is about.
Nice.
You come home, and it's not only for a week where you have to be there. No. It's also before. And you must feel this during the show, and you must feel it before. As you said now, the artists are already in this mindset because they have been here. They're not going to discover something scary 3 weeks before or whatsoever. I think all this plays into this atmosphere that we're trying to create, and by this you will feel it also on screen because the postcards are going to be amazing.
Nice. Of course, one of the biggest things at Eurovision is that running order. We're speaking to each other the morning before they come out, so we're not going to go into who goes where and what, but there's, from what we've learned from speaking to different head of contest and executive producers, is there's a thought behind it. There's a message you want to invoke to everyone watching at home about where Eurovision is and about where Eurovision stands. What was your thought process together with, I think, Christer Björkman, right, who was head of contest this year? Mm-hmm. What was your thought process going into the running order as a whole? What is the message you want to give to the viewers for it?
When it comes to the running order, it's quite easy because as a producer, you want to create the most exciting show possible with all the acts you have. So what you try to do is to build a running order that is really plays with extremes, plays with tempos, plays with different visual effects as well. And I mean, this is a process. And at the end, you try to find the perfect match for the delegations and the songs for the running order. We have fully trust in our contest team, so we have been involved a little bit, but they are doing an amazing job. Then it has to be approved by the EBU, of course. And also the EBU is going to communicate it later today, I guess.
Is it exciting? Is that a moment tonight where you're like kind of keeping an eye on the internet, a little bit of like, like maybe in the chat of the YouTube videos where you're like having a look what fans think about? Sometimes they have crazy theories that you're like, haha, not right. And other times like, oh, they really like that. Or are you just like, we've given it and we trust in what we do, we don't look at it, that kind of stuff?
Well, you're not going to change it because someone...
No, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So the effect of what I'm going to read is limited. Now, to be honest, the whole story about the ESC and what we're doing is we constantly are putting our minds and our souls on the table with ideas. Yep. And those ideas, either you like them or you hate them. Sometimes you perhaps like them. On the ESC, we feel that either you like or you hate. There is not much in the middle.
And sometimes you hate them when you read about them, but then when you see them in real life, you love them.
So to be completely honest, with the number of things that we have to put on the table throughout the year, I mean, I'm personally not watching the reactions because I believe that what we're doing here is right to be coherent. That there are people who don't like it is also normal. We are in 25, there's social medias, there's okay. It must not cross a certain border.
No, I agree.
I don't agree on this because it's about proposals of people. They can be, you like it, you don't like it, but it cannot be hate speech, etc. There is a red line for me. But other than this, it's okay to not like what we're doing here. But it's great to have so many people who like what we do.
Exactly.
Because the feedbacks we're getting are just impressively positive.
It's because you're constantly smiling about it. So that gives also a signal on how I think you feel about it. Something that Merel, one of our listeners, wanted to know is how do you keep the Eurovision magic and joy alive when there's so much you have to do? When there's so much, there's so many meetings, proposals, plans, decisions. How do you keep it magically and fun for yourselves?
There are two things. I think this is now. Yeah.
Now it's time for a little surprise for you.
Yeah, you didn't know this.
Well, I have a surprise for you a little later too, so this is going to be fun.
Nice. So we survive thanks to ginger shots.
Ginger shots, hey, that's a good one.
Ginger shot a day keeps the doctor away.
Those are amazing.
Yeah.
Drink them, you're going to see.
Amazing.
Actually, you have to drink it now.
Yeah, you have to know.
We have to drink it now. Let's do it.
Have to drink it now.
Let's do this.
It's actually... It started in May.
Yeah, it started in May last year because we thought, okay, nobody can get sick through winter time because we have to work. So what are we going to do? So ginger shot should keep everyone healthy in the team.
Exactly.
So, how do you like it?
That's a good ginger shot because it has the kick. There's also some ginger shots.
Are you okay?
There's some ginger shots where you're like, it doesn't. But this one's it's giving it a bit of a tingle.
No, and actually, it's honestly part of the recipe of your question.
Yeah.
Why are we keeping this pace? It's obviously not because of ginger shots, but it's because from the beginning we have, by fun and by discussing, found some rituals like this that you put in place and the team starts adhering to it and then it lives. There were the ginger shots from day one. We have converted so many people to ginger shots. It was amazing. Even the general secretary of the SRG, we gave him, and since now every day he's drinking one. Then we constantly said there are going to be millions of problems, but they're happy problems because even if at the end you have the feeling that you manage happy problems, the worse they are, you're going to have a good experience. If you suffer from your problems at the end of the year, you're not going to enjoy this experience you had. So that was a bit the second, the happy problems. You hear them constantly in the team.
And also, I mean, for most of the team members, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So also to keep in mind when things are bad and you have to try to find solutions for problems and so on, just remind yourself, it's once in a lifetime you can do that.
You must be so proud also of something that we've discussed on the podcast so many times already is we've seen a lot of young media students come in and host the draw. They're going to be responsible for the thing. It gave such an amazing, different impression. It was highly professional. Kudos to them. But also to bring those young new media voices in. That must be something really proud for you guys where you go like, whoa, that's really cool. We tried to do something with young new professionals and it's working.
Yeah. And thank you for saying it, because these are those crazy ideas where at the beginning you don't know if they're going to work. The students is a good example. From the beginning we said we want this ESC to be accessible for people from the outside, but also from the inside. What usually happens as a host broadcaster, you organize the show, and then you have an opening party and the opening ceremony and the semi-final draw to do, that you don't have enough energy to really focus on. We said from the beginning, the only tweak to make it happen is to allow students actually to jump in and make this their once-in-a-lifetime experience. We made this, was a, how do you say it, a competition amongst schools. We found the most motivated school with the greatest ideas. It was this university there. And they came up with the concept that was just amazing. Then we as host broadcasters obviously said, it's an international signal out to the world, you need to secure it. But we gave them coaches, there were technology people from our side coaching their technology students. And in the end, it was really something amazing. And we did it on several other occasions also.
We're also going to do it for the turquoise carpet opening ceremony,
which
with the same school.
By the way, promised the longest turquoise carpet ever. how we've
it's
discovered
not only the longest one, actually it's going to be the best one.
But we've discovered that the city is very walkable, so that's going to be fine. That's going to be fun. The only thing we have to hope for is good weather, but that's going to be fine, I guess.
Yes, but there are plan B's, C's. We have as many backup plans as you have letters in the alphabet.
So basically, the entire city will have carpets, and you just decide the route on the day. That's basically the best option.
What we're currently doing, we're spreading rumors so that everybody's lost.
Yes.
And then in the end, you discover on the 14th of April what the real plan is. We can only say, take good shoes.
Extra blisters in the heels for whoever wears heels. Nice.
Know the city by heart.
Very good.
And yeah, you will see. 14th of April, more info.
Nice. One of the things that you've been talking about since the beginning of November is, of course, the qualifications that are happening at the end of the at the semifinals. It's been something that fans immediately picked up on, like, whoa, what are they doing? Of course, that happened before in Liverpool. I was there. We saw how that happened. Yeah. But what I think the message is that a lot of people forgot about it is that producers in the end for themselves felt, we're going to try and innovate. It didn't feel right. They didn't do it. Yeah. Where are you in the process of how you guys? Because I feel you must feel the same way. Where you're like, we're going to try something with it, but I hear you talk about the comfort level of artists, the comfort level of the viewers. Yeah. So I think you're trying it with the correct, right? I think you have a motivation of doing this where it's going to be exciting, but it's not going to be something that will hurt artists. That's not the feeling I got from you guys from it. And I think it's important to give that message again to the fans.
We want to make it more exciting, but not hurt the artist, of course. Yeah. And I think we have to speak about it after semi-final one, when you saw
Let's do it. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, because, we think it's a fantastic idea to not hurt the artist, but still to have it more engaging and more exciting for the audience at home. Of course, at the end, 10 delegations or 10 artists will make it to the grand final. We're not going to change that.
No.
But yeah, the way we're going to do that is a little bit different this year.
Nice. Two more questions before I let you go. The first question is, we're seeing an amazing design by Florian Wieder again this year. We spoke to our Dutch creative director who said that he felt in a good way that it was a challenging design because of the postcard frame, the 360 stuff, that it will challenge a lot of creative designers the way they think about how to kind of direct their own performance. Was that an intention specifically from you guys? Because let's be honest, there is a sort of generic sort of Eurovision performance that we've seen over the last 20 years where it's like crowd shot from left to right. But he felt in a good way the frame was kind of challenging everyone to think differently. Was that an intent? Or was it something that just naturally happened in the progress with Florian?
The good thing on every event you're organizing is only we know what was an intent, but we can set it as an intent. Now, when we worked on the stage design and there was a competition, we had many proposals. For us, it was clear that we wanted to have a stage that people remember. 4 or 5 years, you type ESC on YouTube and you see stages. There's one stage you're going to recognize, it's ours, because you know this was in Basel. That was the main goal.
Nice.
And the second condition was it needs to be a Swiss knife, because we want to give unlimited possibilities to all delegations. So yes, in a certain way it answers that question, but not in a challenging way, but more in a do what you want and just let go. That was the you know?
And when you communicated about the stage, it was mainly about the mountains and the frame, of course. But at the end, the delegations, they got a lot more of information about the stage and this Swiss Army knife with many, many possibilities. And what we saw until now is that the delegations really take part of these opportunities the stage gives them. So it's going to be quite interesting. And also, we saw some of the delegations with quite spectacular ideas what they can do with this stage. So it's going to be fun also for the fans, for the audience. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting.
And here again, you have the example of how we want to make it accessible. Because it's a stage where the audience is part of the stage.
They're everywhere in that arena.
They are everywhere around the artist. And this is making a difference also.
What is the feeling you want everyone who will be watching the world's largest music show? We now officially have that title on the digital album, so that's what we're calling Eurovision from now on out. It's true. What feeling do you want everyone who will touch it in some way, whether it's just a news report, whether it's watching the shows, what feeling do you want to leave them with after the final is done somewhere, you know, at the end of the night on Saturday? What is that feeling you want to leave them with?
We have several, I guess. First one is, it's also this. That would be the first one.
Yeah. Actually, it's welcome home. It's the welcome home feeling. Home is different for everyone, but the feeling about home and welcoming home is almost the same for every person. So we want really to create this feeling. If you are in the venue, if you are at home for the TV, or if you are in the city for a side event, it's all about this feeling, actually.
Nice, guys. 45 days until that opening ceremony happens. That means at that point, everything is locked and loaded. There's only, I think, about 120 people in the world who have experienced what you're experiencing, being an executive producer of a Eurovision. Now, that means we found someone, Sietse Bakker. He executive produced 2021.
Yeah.
He's got a little message for you guys.
All right.
Hello, Reto and Moritz. I'm so excited to see the work that you're doing in preparation of the upcoming Eurovision Song Contest. I think you have all the ingredients to make it a fantastic event, not to say the least, a fantastic team and 2 great executive producers at the helm. Enjoy the upcoming weeks. It's the final stretch. It's really exciting, sometimes stressful, but a lot of fun, and enjoy the ride while you're on it. Good luck, and I hope to see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sietse is the only one who could do it twice without winning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So, and we know each other quite well. I was in the reference group when Sietse was executive producer, so we worked very close together. So thank you for the message.
It must feel nice to have that camaraderie within the reference group and the executive producers, to have that support amongst each other. I think that's something we don't often realize, that there's so much camaraderie amongst all of the heads of delegations, the reference group and the executive producers. And that's part of the ESC community as well, right?
Yeah, we don't believe that there is some kind of group where executive producers come from. That doesn't exist.
No.
Because this would be the wrong message, I guess. It's not at all like this. It's just you become executive producer because you know the ESC. Because when an organization wins the ESC, they have a few hours to decide on how do they organize this, and then you try to catch the ones who know it. But in fact, the people who know the ESC know each other. And we have been in Rotterdam, we know Sietse from before. So yes, it's a small world, and this is where you know people. And what I must say is, from the moment where we were nominated to those positions, there is such a huge solidarity amongst former executive producers. The colleagues from Sweden from last year, the colleagues from Liverpool, the colleagues from Italy, Sietse, they're constantly one text message away. From the beginning, they say, if you need something, tell us, we have been through this. And this was fantastic because you feel less lonely with your huge Mount Everest in front of you.
Especially at the beginning of this year, because you need so many information as well. And Eba and Crystal from SVT, who did it last year, they helped us a lot at the beginning.
And they're also the only people who do not come to you and want tickets, because they know that as an executive producer, you don't have something.
You don't have something. No. Oh my God! Well, you could offer them 2 seats in the backstage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come sit over here at the delegation moment. It's gonna be so much fun. Reto, Moritz, thank you so much for giving us a little insight into what Eurovision is about. I think our experience after being here for 4 days is that Basel is ready, the broadcast is ready, the EBU is ready, the artists are starting to get ready. They're on their pre-party journey now, while they're secretly rehearsing for everything that's coming. And I think the enthusiasm is building, and with only a month away, Switzerland is going to be, I think maybe we have to put some extra meters out, because there's going to be an earthquake of love and music coming from Basel very soon.
That would be nice.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.